Before gearing down test of the Big Red on this hill here. Had issues with not being able to get up it, so we're going to do one from back here and kind of getting a run at it, and then I'm going to do a slow creep just trying to crawl up, and then once we get the gears in, we'll do the same test again. This is my 2010 Honda Big Red 700. Today I'm going to try and do a gear reduction on it. Searching around the internet and everything, I can't find anywhere where there's an actual gear reduction for this. I can find where they take the gears out of these and put them in a Rincon to give it a gear reduction. There's just, when you get the back loaded down in some of the hills and stuff we go up when we're going out hunting or camping or whatever, it just, this last trip I had to be pushed up a couple of hills because the gearing just isn't low enough, and you just start losing speed, and then it essentially stalls, not the engine but the momentum stalls, because the torque converter just can't push through. So really want to gear it down. I did a bunch of looking on the internet, and I think I found something that'll work. When I get the differential out and get the parts on the bench, we'll go through it and I'll explain what I found, and we'll see how it works out. We're just gonna go through this together and see if it works. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, then I guess now you guys can watch it not work. Yeah, first thing we're gonna do is get the rear end out, and we're gonna try and do the rear differential first because it looks like it's the least likely to work. So if I can get it to work, I'm pretty much positive the front end will. And even if I can get the front end to work, if I can't get the rear to work, there's no point in doing the front. So I'm going to start back there. And okay, so it's not going to work. The reason I thought it might work is when I went through all the microfiche essentially online through Honda Parts House. The carrier here for the front differential on the Big Red was the same part number as the carrier for the Pioneer 500, and either this half or the other half, I can't remember, one of the halves of the housings on the Pioneer 500 was the same part number as the housing on the Big Red. The part numbers were the same part. So I thought it might work in the front. It actually still might work in the front, but like I said earlier, if it doesn't work in the rear, there's no point in doing the front. So that's why I started in the rear, and it doesn't look like it's going to work on the rear. Oh, also on the Pioneer, the front differential said it was 13 tooth pinion, which the Big Red is also a 13 tooth pinion, but it was 53 teeth on the ring gear, and the Big Red's 45 teeth on the ring gear. So I thought it might work again on the front. The rear of the Pioneer 500 says it's 22 teeth on the pinion and 53 on the ring gear. I'm not sure if they got some other gear going on there, or maybe different tires front and rear, why they'd have a different ratio, or maybe something's wrong with their parts fish and it's actually a 22 in the front as well. But either way, those are the reasons I thought it would work. And, well, I'll show you, I guess, why it won't work. I mean, you might be able to see from there already, but I mean, the bolt pattern on here is actually the same as the bolt pattern here, but on this, the bolts thread into the ring, and on this, they thread into the carrier. Let's bring this in a little closer here. And then you can also see, when we get closer, the teeth on this one are much larger than these. I can't even get the tip of this pinion into this ring gear. Because I thought, well, maybe if I get the tip in and could get it on, it might work. If the pinion would go into here, just because of the fact that it had more teeth, so it'd actually take that almost one more full rotation to turn it, but at the same time you lose the leverage because this is at least an inch, say maybe 2 smaller. I mean, you can see the full teeth of the other ring gear all the way around. So, yeah, that's not going to work. Alright, so I'm just going to have to put this together and put it back in as it was. And at this point, the only options I have is to go with smaller stock size tires. They say they're 25s on the sidewall, but they measure out to like 27, 28 inches. And they're actually the same size, parked side by side, as my buddy's wheeler that has 27s on it. My 25s are as big as his 27s, so I think I'm going to end up taking the tires off one of my other wheelers that they say they're 25s, but they're way smaller. I'd have to measure them. They might actually be 25s. They might be 24s. The only option I have is to go to smaller tires or go to portals, and $3 grand for portals isn't in the budget. So I'm just going to take the tires off my other wheeler and put these tires back on it. Run it. If I come up with anything new or different or something, I'll show you guys that. Once I get the smaller tires swapped on, I'll go hit that hill again and see what kind of difference it makes. A couple weeks ago did the test with the 25-inch Swampers that actually measure out to 27, 28 inches. Now I've got the 25-inch tires on it. So now I'm going to do a test just with the 25s and just kind of see the difference. Well, I'm definitely going to have to look into some other options, because with the 25s, it didn't do any better than it did with the 27s. It doesn't seem to be making that much of a difference. It gets up to about the same spot. I mean, it doesn't get really sandy here, but even then it gets up here and it gets a spot. You can see the tires will just stall. It doesn't keep spinning them. So I don't know, got to gear it down or something, or maybe do some more research, because I mean, I look around online and you got people talking about how they can't spin the tires, other people talking about how they can spin 30s just fine stock. So it's gonna have to look at it some more and see what we can figure out.